Rob Mullins lets it fly. Lets it fly. He discusses conference realignment on WDTV5 News in West Virginia with Ali Osborn, who interviewed him yesterday. She is stationed at a West Virginia news outlet, WDTV5 News. We're going to discuss it here on episode 68 of College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Flugar. Welcome, everybody. Before we get into this breaking news of last night, please smash the like button. Subscribe to our ever-growing channel. Please share this video with your friends and family. This was a significant breaking news. Ali Osborn interviewed an Oregon graduate who works for WDTV5 News out in West Virginia, interviewed Rob Mullins of Oregon, right? She had a big interview that was broadcast, but part of the interview that wasn't put on their full interview broadcast at WDTV5 News was a question about conference realignment, and it was put out on her Twitter account at Ali Osborn. We're going to show you the clip, just a small 1:05 clip of Ali Osborn asking the question, Rob Mullins answering the question. Then we're going to break it down. We have the transcript. We're going to break it down. The vast majority of you understand the significance of this interview and what Rob Mullins said. A lot of you understand the big, large breadcrumbs that was laid before us. But some of you are still struggling to see the significance of this 1:05 clip. But we're going to get through it. We're going to analyze it because everything is important in college football here at Peek Around the Corner. So let's get to it. Let's talk about it. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. I read all the comments, whether you agree or disagree with this host. Let's get to it. Let's play the video. Let's play the video, and then we're going to break it down. Again, this is Ali Osborn from WDTV5 News on her Twitter account asking Rob Mullins this question, and then we're going to break it down.
Rob, conference realignment is a hot-button issue with the Pac-12 under the spotlight specifically. Do you have anything to say on the topic?
Well, I mean, obviously there's been rapid change with Texas and Oklahoma's move to the SEC, and now USC and UCLA's move to the Big Ten. And I think we're just in an environment where, once everything was kind of grounded in tradition and kind of regionally based, that has changed. And so I think you're going to see more and more change because those, kind of geographic barriers have been lifted. And a lot of things are driven by TV dollars, if I'm being quite honest. Fortunately for WVU and for Oregon, we're incredibly strong brands with passionate fan bases, strong TV ratings. And so we're always going to have the opportunity to be at the highest level. And we just need to best position ourselves. We're both in great leagues in the Pac-12 and the Big 12. So, we have great homes. We're great institutions, and I think we will continue to be.
All right, there you have it. Let's break this down. First of all, Rob Mullins is an alum of West Virginia University. He graduated in West Virginia in 1991. So he's taken an interview from Ali Osborn, who's a graduate from Oregon, who's an anchor at WTV5 News out in West Virginia. Okay, and again, this little clip did not make the grand interview that was displayed on the news station at West Virginia. This was an extra. This was an extra clip Ali Osborn chose to put on her Twitter account. Probably trying to get to the question of realignment with the University of Oregon. Let's go through the transcript of this clip. The first two parts, not a whole lot of meaning in my estimation. She asked the question. Ali Osborn asked the question. Rob, conference realignment is a hot topic. With the Pac-12 under the spotlight specifically, right? Pac-12 just got raided, lost USC, UCLA. Do you have anything to say on the topic? Rob Mullins answers, Again, this first part, don't think has much meaning, right? He says, we are into an environment where once everything was grounded in tradition, kind of like regionally based, that has changed. This is what he says next. I think you're going to see more and more change because those geographic barriers have been lifted. And a lot of the things are driven by TV dollars, if I'm being quite honest. And Rob Mullins, you are being quite honest in this part of the interview. I think you are going to see more and more change because those geographic barriers have been lifted. I would ask you, those who believe this is a nothing burger, let me ask you, what change is Rob Mullins talking about? If it doesn't have to do with Oregon trying to get into the Big Ten and other Pac-12 schools, what else is he talking about in regards to change that has to do with geographic barriers being lifted? And a lot of those things are being driven by TV dollars. SEC is not going to expand right now beyond their footprint. ACC cannot expand beyond their footprint. They have a long-term contract that goes to 2036. Their schools are underneath the grant of rights. Do you think Rob Mullins is talking about how possibly the Pac-12 is going to lift their geographic barriers and expand with San Diego State, which doesn't lift the geographic barriers, and SMU? Do you think this was all about Pac-12 expanding with SMU? Remember yesterday, while this interview was going on, Ali Osborn with Rob Mullins, we had breaking news from Sports Business Journal where they said the Pac-12 was unable to reach a deal with Fox and ESPN, and now they're going to have their new media contract be for open bidding, right? With potential other media partners. Pac-12 is in no position to even think about expansion right now. They're trying to figure out a deal, a media deal. They're bringing Amazon or Apple, right? Rob Mullins, when he says, I think you're going to see more and more changes because those geographic barriers have been lifted and a lot of things are driven by TV dollars. If I'm being quite honest, man, come on. That has to do with the University of Oregon itself and the potential for them to be part of this change driven by TV dollars. Geographic barriers have been lifted. And if you don't think that's what he's talking about, what do you think he's talking about? Put it down in the comment section below the video. I read all the comments. But it doesn't just end there. He says, fortunately for WVU, now he's talking to a WVU news station, so he's going to play positive lip service to West Virginia. He's also a graduate of West Virginia. Fortunately for West Virginia and Oregon, we are incredibly strong brands. He's still not talking about the Pac-12 in a positive light at all, right? The question that Ali Osborn asked was, there's conference realignment is a hot topic with the Pac-12 under the specific spotlight specifically. Do you have anything to say on the topic? Again, he's still not talking about the Pac-12. He goes, fortunately for WVU and Oregon, we are incredibly strong brands with passionate fan bases, strong TV ratings. So he's not saying, fortunately the Pac-12 has strong TV ratings and we can expand and lift up the geographic barriers. He doesn't say that. He says, fortunately, in the first part of the interview, he says TV money is driving this change. And then he says, Oregon has an incredibly strong brand, passionate fan base, and strong TV ratings. He's connecting Oregon to this possible more change that he's telling everyone we're going to see more and more of this change. So we are always, he continues, so we are always going to have the opportunity to be at the highest levels And we need to best position ourselves. Why do you need to best position yourselves? If this is about Pac-12 expansion to lift geographical barriers, why does Oregon specifically need to best position themselves? Because that's not where the change is going to happen next. That's not the next change. When Rob Mullins says, I think you're going to see more and more changes because those geographic barriers have been lifted, he's not speaking of Pac-12. And a lot of things are driven by TV dollars, if I'm being quite honest. Rob Mullins, again, this was not part of the major broadcast interview between Ali Osborn and Rob Mullins. This was an extra clip, an extra part that was just played on Ali Osborn. She decided to put it on the Twitter account. Thank you, Ali Osborn, for putting it on your Twitter account. Now, put this 1:05 clip into context. As we always say at Peek Around the Corner, put it into context. We know from independent reporting from Action Network, Brett McMurphy, that Oregon has spoken to the Big Ten in at least preliminary talks. That was reported by Brett McMurphy a couple weeks ago. We know that Dennis Dodd, CBS Sports, just said last week in CBS Sports, by multiple sources, said the pursuit is still on with Big Ten trying to be able to figure out a way to expand with Oregon, Washington, Stanford, and California. And we know from our own independent, from BTM and his associates here at Peek Around the Corner, episode 52. If you haven't seen it yet, go back and watch it. We let you all know, we reported that Oregon was being extremely aggressive in their conference realignment talks with the Big Ten. Put all that into context. And again, watch the video of Ali Osborn at Ali Osborn Twitter account. Watch this 1:05 clip with Rob Mullins. Man. An athletic director does not... Let's conclude this by saying this. If Oregon was not, if the university wasn't still pursuing a possible invite to the Big Ten, or had already been told no by the Big Ten, it wasn't happening, do you think Rob Mullins would be doing this interview and saying the following? I think we're going to see more and more changes because those geographic barriers have been lifted and a lot of things are driven by TV dollars, and later says, oh, by the way, we have passionate fan bases with strong TV ratings, so we're always going to have the opportunity to be at the highest levels, and we need to best position ourselves. Do you think Rob Mullins would have said all that if Oregon had been told no or still wasn't pursuing the Big Ten? Put your comments down in the comment section below the video. Again, smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and stay with us here at Peek Around the Corner. Stick with us. We are following this story. We're following this story. It's not dead. It's absolutely not dead. It is alive. It is alive. So again, until next time, from all of us at Peek Around the Corner to all of you, please, you all take care of each other. Thank you so very much.